Yes, sir.
What has to happen tonight? Two questions twinned. What does Hillary Clinton need to do tonight in order to basically shut this race down? And what does Bernie Sanders need to have happen in order to keep this race alive?
I'll take the second first. He's got to show that he can play in states other than his neighboring states or states where there's a homogeneous population. And I think for Secretary Clinton, it's as much message as it is how she does. She has to slowly begin the process of reaching into Bernie Sanders' core strength in this electorate, which are younger voters, women. She's going to have to do very well among the southern states with large non-white populations tonight. But she's got a very different challenge than Senator Sanders is, and she's got the lead and she's got the ability to begin wearing him down over time.
Steve, what do you think about those questions?
I think Mike's right. I mean, if I were the Clinton campaign, I'd be beginning to think about how do I go get some of those disaffected Republicans who are horrified at the prospect of Donald Trump, and how do I speak a little bit more to the high school educated white male and to the constituencies within the Democratic Party that Donald Trump might be able to reach into, and try to kind of cut that off early before Donald Trump sort of gets there. I think for Bernie Sanders, what he has to do, as Mike said, is show that he can play someplace outside of a lily-white state. You know, Nevada was still 70% white. He did better there, but he's got to really start to perform with African Americans and Hispanics if he's going to make this race competitive, and he needs to start doing it right now.
Guy raising a lot of money. He's only on TV in a handful of the states voting today. She's on TV with paid ads everywhere. He raised $41 million this month. Where should he start spending his money going forward?
Well, I mean, you know,
where and how?
My own view is that a strategy where you say we think we can win here and we think we can win there and maybe over here is not really a strategy to win. It's a strategy to kind of lead a movement and be a protester. He's got enough money to actually go for it, and he probably should, because, you know, at some point people are going to begin to say, you know, Bernie, it's time.
But what does going for it mean? Where do you spend $40 million in the rest of March?
Well, I think they raised it at a time when they didn't have enough opportunity to spend it, so you probably look a little farther out and you say we're going to win some big states and here's what they are, because if they don't do that or something like that that begins to kind of focus people's attention, their attention is going to be focused on the fact that Bernie didn't win almost anywhere and that he didn't win by, or he didn't make it as close as he should have, and they're going to start to ask him when are you going to get out, and that's what he does not want to have happen.
Mike, these are two things are not at odds, but you guys just both talked a little bit about Hillary Clinton's challenge going forward. There's obviously a message challenge, but there's one point of emphasis where you could basically say, I'm going to start to pivot to the general election. I'm going to start talking about Republicans all the time. There's another that is about party healing, you know, and there's a bunch of, you can still go out Bernie Sanders into a lot of states right now and show up, and there's 10,000 people who want to see Bernie Sanders, more than Hillary Clinton will get at a week's worth of rallies. So he's got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of young people who like him. Should she be more focused on trying to attract those people and get them enthused about her candidacy to work within the party, or is she supposed to, you think it'd be a better idea for her to put her emphasis on looking down the road at Republicans, taking on Trump, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, she's got to do both, obviously. But I think first and foremost, it's less about disaffected voters. It's more about energizing the core constituencies that led to back-to-back victories for Barack Obama in 2008 and 2016. She's going to need an energized electorate, and while it may seem as though she can count on her opponent to do that, I think the electorate's going to be turned on its head, and she's going to need to start with a core, energized Democratic base. So I think that's her first priority.
If Hillary Clinton came to you and said, Mike, I want you, getting a little ahead of ourselves, not declaring the race over, but let's say Hillary Clinton becomes a Democratic nominee, I want you to design a role for Bernie Sanders at the convention. What would a good role for him be? Well,
look, she's going to have to capture not just his endorsement, but the energy and the support of his following now. And I think she does not underestimate the power of what he's built. And she realizes that an energized base of support is going to be important to her. So I would leave that wide open. I would want his endorsement when he's willing to give it and under what conditions that he's willing to give it. And I would want him not just lending my name to the cause, but lending my energy and my support and my following to the cause in the fall.
Real quick, if Bernie Sanders wins the races where he's competing right now, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Colorado, Vermont, Massachusetts, wins all 5, is this race still a dogfight?
I don't know if it's a dogfight, but it certainly gives him a rationale for going on, and it gives him an opportunity to sort of place that $40 million out there in a way that he can become competitive. I don't think it makes him competitive right now, but I think it gives him the time and the space to actually go become competitive or not.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mike. You guys are both great.
Thank you.
We'll have lots more on our super special, super duper Tuesday coverage after these words from our sponsors.